Hello YouTubers, this is Shem, and here in front of me is the brand new Sony Xperia Z2, which is the company's flagship model for 2014. As usual, you'll find a timeline in the video description so you can jump to the section of interest. So let's have a look inside the box and see its contents. The phone comes packed in a card box similarly to other devices from Sony. The first thing you see after opening it is the Sony Xperia Z2. I'm gonna put it aside for now. Inside the box you will also find a wall charger, a micro USB charging cable and a few safety instructions. Along with the phone we also get the digital noise cancelling headset equipped with a special 5-pin connector. Noise cancelling works only with Xperia Z2 phone and Xperia Z2 tablet. They are comfortable in the ear and the noise cancelling is great. They come equipped with a microphone so you can use them for calls, but they do have one major drawback, as for some reason they do not have any buttons to change tracks or answer calls. And this is absolutely ridiculous and I don't understand how such a headset could even be included with a smartphone. Now to the smartphone build and design. The device comes with protective films on the front and back panel. The whole front is covered with tempered glass and the body of the phone is made of aluminum. On the top middle of the headset rests the Sony logo and to the right of it the 2.2 megapixel front-facing camera. On the top and bottom of the smartphone are front-facing stereo speakers. Because the phone is IP55 and IP58 certified, which means that it is dust-proof and water-resistant to submersion up to 1.5 meters, most device ports are covered with flaps. On the left side is a large flap under which lies the micro USB charging port and the micro SIM card slot. In the middle of the left side you can also find pogo pins compatible with a dedicated charging port and below them an attachment for a leash. On the bottom you can find 3 microphone holes, and moving to the right of the smartphone you can see a 2-step camera button on the bottom, a volume rocker and an aluminum button characteristic for the Xperia series. On the top right lies yet another flap under which is a micro SD card slot supporting cards up to 128 GB in storage. On the top is a small hole from a secondary microphone and a waterproof headphone jack. On the back of the phone lies the 20.7 megapixel camera module with Exmor RS image processor, which is in fact the same as that on the Xperia Z1. The flash is right underneath. Below the camera you can find an NFC icon pointing to the module location and below the Sony and Xperia logos. The back cover is made of tempered glass. When it comes to the phone size, it's 73.3mm in width, 146.8mm in height and its thickness is 8.2mm. The device weighs 162 grams. I previously mentioned the IP58 certification. I've decided to put a device through a quick test and submerged it completely in a container full of water for 30 minutes while it was playing video. The phone survived this test with no problem and as soon as I wiped the screen I could carry on using it as usual. Overall, the Xperia Z2 made a very good impression on me and its minimalist design, known from the previous Z series headsets, remains difficult not to like. As compared to the older Xperia Z1, the display is 0.2 inches bigger, but the frames around the display were reduced and the headset is only slightly longer. The Xperia Z2 has a new multicolored LED notification light under the top speaker, which is a lot brighter than on the older Xperia Z models. Moving on to the spec sheet, the device is equipped with the newest quad-core Qualcomm Snapdragon 801 clocked at 2.3 GHz, Adreno 330 graphics chip and 3 GB of RAM. There's also a built-in radio, Bluetooth 4.0 and NFC and LTE module. The device comes in 16 GB version expandable by the SD card slot. When it comes to performance, there are not too many devices currently on the market that could compete with the Xperia Z2. In AnTuTu benchmark, the phone achieved a whopping 33,833, which puts it near the top of the rankings. This is perfectly suited for gaming. The most demanding titles such as Need for Speed Most Wanted or Deus Ex: The Fall run smoothly without noticing a single frame drop. Adreno 330 graphics chip inside the Snapdragon 801 allows for smooth gameplay, and I think that we are yet to see a mobile title that can make full use of its power. What is also cool is that the phone supports a DualShock 3 wireless PlayStation controller, and you can connect it via Bluetooth to use it instead of the on-screen buttons. During gaming, I did notice some heating up around the camera module where the CPU is located whilst playing. I will also mention here that the free Amazing Spider-Man 2 game from Gameloft that you can get for free in Xperia Launch app with the phone purchase kept crashing, which was quite annoying as it should have been perfectly optimized for the Z2. Hopefully this issue will get fixed with an update. The 5.2-inch display on Sony Xperia Z2 has a resolution of 1080 by 1920, which gives it a pixel density of 424 pixels per inch. The IPS LCD screen comes with triluminous and X-Reality engine technologies. It has great viewing angles and contrast, and the color reproduction is of the highest standard. In the settings menu inside the phone you can find white balance correction. In my unit the screen was slightly yellow before calibration. As opposed to the older Xperia Z1, the display is not covered with an anti-shatter film that a lot of users were complaining about. In phone settings you'll find glove mode, which increases the sensitivity of the display and makes it possible to use touchscreen through any material, which is a great feature if you live in a cold climate and often wear gloves. One thing that I've got to mention here is the outside visibility. Although the brightness is not bad, the touch sensors under the screen glow in direct sunlight and can be really annoying. That's something I've not found on other devices such as the Galaxy S5 or the HTC One M8. Sony has made a great decision to place the speakers on Xperia Z2 on the front of the device. They are for sure some of the best on the market, but before you ask this question, no, they're not a match for the HTC One M8, and I'm sure that the water-resistant membranes are to blame. The speakers are located in a perfect position though, don't cause accidental muffling, and are definitely a huge improvement over those found in Xperia Z1. Sony Xperia Z2 currently runs on the newest Android 4.4.2 KitKat with a light Sony skin. If you've ever used a Sony device before, you'll be familiar with the looks. I'll just mention that to aid in multitasking, Sony has added many apps which you can find after pressing the Recent Apps button. They float on the screen and you can use them whilst performing other tasks. In the phone you'll also find an app called Sony Select with a lot of offers exclusive to Sony device owners. With the purchase of Xperia Z2 you get to download 10 free themes, get a selection of premium apps for free, 6 full movies, a brand new Michael Jackson album, and the content gets updated on a regular basis with promos and offers. Xperia Z2 has a built-in 3200 mAh lithium-ion battery. During intensive use with LTE switched on at all times and full brightness set, I managed to get between 4 and 4.5 hours of screen on time. Whilst being constantly on Wi-Fi, the phone lasted an incredible 5.5 hours on screen. This is truly incredible, and the Xperia Z1 would usually last me over an hour shorter in either case. With moderate usage and also with the use of stamina mode, this should translate to 2 to 3 days of functioning. Moving on to the camera in the device, Sony Xperia Z2 is equipped with a 20.7 megapixel module with Exmor RS sensor on the back and a 2.2 megapixel camera in the front. You'll find the standard Sony layout with camera and video recording switches on the bottom of the screen and a mode selection button. In mode selection you can choose one of the available modes or click on the plus button in upper corner to install one of the supported apps. In Superior Auto mode, the camera will auto-adjust all the shooting settings. The picture resolution is set to 8 megapixels by default and you can't increase it in this mode. If you choose Manual mode, you'll be able to shoot in full 20.7 megapixels. Pictures must be in 4:3 aspect in the highest resolution, and scene selection becomes unavailable. To use scene selection, you'll need to decrease the resolution. In Manual mode, in between other settings, you'll find HDR shooting mode as well as manual ISO selection. There are a few really cool shooting modes that can be used on the smartphone, such as Time Shift Burst or AR effect known from other Sony models, and in Sony Xperia Z2 we will also find a couple of new Sony features exclusive to the device due to hardware requirements. That includes 4K video recording, and you can find some samples on my channel, and an awesome time shift video mode where the phone records 720p video in 120 frames per second and easily lets you choose the part that you want in slow motion. When it comes to the quality of pictures taken with Sony Xperia Z2, it is just stunning for a mobile phone. You can also tell that Sony has worked hard to polish the software. The photographs are full of detail, have beautiful colors, and the camera does a great job with choosing the right exposure values. The autofocus is not as fast as in some of the competition, and the Superior Auto mode can be temperamental, but if you know how to use the manual mode, the Z2 can show you what it is really capable of. Low light shots, which are usually the Achilles foot in mobile photography, look the best that I've ever seen on a mobile device. When it comes to the front camera, unfortunately here the Sony disappoints and pictures are mediocre at best. In 2014 I would have expected at least a 5 megapixel wide angle lens camera in a premium device. The final question is whether Sony Xperia Z2 is the phone to get in 2014. It is without a doubt one of the strongest smartphones with regards to technical specification. Its main positive sides are water resistance, minimalist design, great performance in games, great battery, an LTE module, a beautiful 5.2-inch screen, and front-facing stereo speakers. On the list of things that I didn't like are the poor front-facing camera, touch sensors visible in direct sunlight, and the lack of infrared port which is found in the competition. Nevertheless, Sony Xperia Z2 is so far the best phone that I've ever tested, and it's my personal favorite. I hope that you've enjoyed my review. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button under the video and subscribe to my channel for more content coming soon.